Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for August 28th through 31st. How are you doing? So, we are in such an intense time of astrology, and it's almost like there's so much intensity and squaring and oppositions and messages and energies. It's almost like the stars, we can see how the planets and the stars have been really lining up and trying to speak to us. There's something happening here. We're in a place of turning a corner. And yes, we still have the rest of 2020 we need to deal with, and this Mars retrograde that hasn't even started. We're starting to move into this, but some hints and clues are coming through about the power of this time if we can be present and aware and use it to our advantage. There's a tide turning underneath the energies of like this tension. So it's almost like so much tension that it's like working together to support moving out of tension, perhaps. So right now we're still feeling Mars and square to Saturn. And that was exact. It's still exact today. And so we're going to be feeling this, actually, that the effect of this goes on for the next couple of weeks. And Mars and Saturn, our main action planets, up against the wall together, saying, how in the heck do we do this? Mars says, come on, let's go. I'm impatient. And Saturn says, no, you don't. You have to do it the right way. You have to do it in sequence. You have to build a foundation. You have to take your time. You have to break all ties and contracts with energies that are keeping you from expressing your truth. It's like we're running out of options, and the only option is for us to step into our power to push through these energies. And it's almost like they're there for us. This is the energy. It's kind of like, whoa, okay, ooh, intense Mars retrograde, but it's like, this is exactly what you need to turn that corner. And this is exactly what you need to adjust to these new higher frequency energies that are coming in. And so this Mars square Saturn is just like glitchy, because both being action planets, but in square, Saturn at home in Capricorn, Mars at home in Aries, saying, ugh, Mars is like fight for life, zest, life force, who you really are, this full expression. And Saturn in Capricorn, the laws and the rules and the contracts and the beliefs and the structures that have held authority over us, right? But then we have Venus in opposition to Pluto, and Venus coming to these end degrees of Cancer, bringing up planetary grief, bringing up energies around the past that haven't been resolved, and a lot of stuff around what happened to us in that Venus retrograde, a complete rearranging of where we thought we were going, what we thought we wanted, what we thought mattered to us. And now Pluto has come into the mix to break those down. Isn't that nice? Just kind of clear the path for us, right? And it's kind of like each of these intense transits, because the other one is Mercury and square to Neptune. Each of them by themselves is so intense, but them together is almost like this mystical, magical keyhole portal, and just squeeze yourself into that so you can get through to the other side, because it's calling to you. There is only one choice, and that's your full expression. It's not part way in a little bit and I'll dabble in it anymore. That's not going to work. And this astrology says, step into, claim your power right here, right now. Use this to your advantage. Claim that star power. So Pluto in Capricorn is about breaking down the structures that aren't serving us anymore. In this case, it's breaking down the structures that came up from the Venus retrograde. So it's like the last 4 or 5 months, what's happened in your life personally, and then also on the planet. It's like these revealings are now, there's action happening around actual change that needs to happen. As scary as it is, it feels way better than being in old ultimate confusion, right? But with Venus and Cancer and coming to these end degrees, we got this energy of like this, like, whoa, holding on, grief, like unresolved emotions. And then that coupled with the fact that the South Node is still very close to the Galactic Center. The South Node being what's holding you back from the past, what's holding us back collectively. It affects the collective and individually, but it's really a collective energy. And then on the Galactic Center is our destiny, our purpose. And it's like this feeling that we've all just kind of, as supernova souls, dealt with. Like, well, maybe someday it'll figure out, do I have a path and purpose? There's something I need to do, but maybe that's just a silly pipe dream. I don't know. That's this bigger thing that feels like I'm supposed to do, but everybody around me thinks that's silly, And it's like these energies of the grief of things not working out from the past, like, oh my gosh, look at where humanity and the earth are right now. Light workers, we've been here. We've been working our butts off. We've been going up against these energies for so long. And are we getting anywhere? And feelings of like, I didn't do enough in my past lives, this failure, this grief, like there's something I need to do, and this is what is trying to happen right now with these transits. It's like we got to separate out that story from the past with our destiny, right? Because it's like we can't go forward until we drop those old, what's basically happening is past life personality constructs where you weren't able to fulfill your mission, except for the messages like, was that your mission? Do you really know what your mission is? Do you know you failed really? Because was that even your job? And that's part of this whole, these personality constructs breaking down who we thought we were, past life, things that we didn't even know were past life things, totally living out these weird stories, and blooming all over the place, trying to get a grip of like what this is all about. Because we're just in this time where the veil is thinning, and Venus opposite Pluto says, yeah, break that stuff down. Go ahead, cry your tears. Like, we don't have time right now to feel sad and bad about what is going on the planet, because it's our time to fly, It's our time to use this intensity to do the only thing and the one thing we came here to do, which is to come into our full expression. And this is a huge message coming in for the supernova soul that for the most part, we've been existing, for the most part, the supernova souls are existing in a very small fraction of the potential that they have, their gifts. They have no idea. It's like this person that you haven't met yet, and you're limping around here in 3D, totally lost, and you've got this star power, and it's time to land this home. The way all these transits are lining up, and that South Node Galactic Center and Venus opposite Pluto is like breaking down all of the things that came up in the Venus retrograde and dropping these stories, particularly around grief, regret, and failure, right? And it's like, we got to get to the bigger picture of what's happening here. We got to turn the corner. We've got to move into the new. And of course, this is this Mars retrograde, glitchy, a little bit forward, a bunch back, and shift and go around the corner and in the maze. And but the incredible potency of this time, it's coming forward more and more every day now. So just keep that in mind. We're moving into a very different energy. It's not too far. We're coming into a full moon in Pisces. I hope you'll consider joining me for a Pisces full moon activation. That's going to be on Tuesday, September 1st at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. The full moon itself is on the 2nd, September 2nd. And so the information to sign up for that is in the box below. And so this Pisces full moon is about trying to adjust, because the other transit that's going on is Mercury square Neptune. Mercury and Virgo, trying to get organized, trying to get grounded, trying to get a sense of what's going on here, trying to clean up the messes, and then in square to Neptune. And it's like, what is real and what is a dream and what is fake and what's a nightmare, and what just this, it's like just bringing up this total confusion around facts versus fantasy versus reality. in our world, versus propaganda, and just like the Mars square Saturn and then Mercury square Neptune is like frustration at all the lies and the delusions and just this like nightmare that's been painted for us for so long. And it's time to shift this. So this Pisces full moon has this little magical energy to it of dreaming that new dream, because the moon will be in sextile to Uranus in Taurus, and the sun for this full moon will be in trine to Uranus. And Uranus in Taurus is about infusing our world with new higher frequency energy vibrations, changing our relationship to physical form, changing our relationship to and ideas about wealth and security. And so this Pisces full moon has this energy of like, hey guys, hey, there's something else going on here. There's something else going on here. And there's a lot of agenda going into this is the new normal. This is just the way it's going to be. And it's like, no, because we've got a bunch of little bonfires out there of truth disclosure. And any one of them could go off at any moment and start a whole ring of fire of truth, And so it's a really strange time as we're preparing for this Mars retrograde and have all these intense transits about the authority, the contracts, the beliefs that are keeping us from getting anywhere or being who we really are. This delusions about, or the breaking down of the value system and our identities that are keeping us in grief and in the past and in failure, and with that Venus opposite Pluto and the planetary grief and failure, the South Node Galactic Center, and then Mercury square Neptune. Wow, it is a perfect storm designed exactly for you, coming at you in this dynamic way from all angles, saying all that shit that's going on in your life right now, it has one message, and that's wake up. And this is waking up. We are waking up to truth. We are waking up to spirit. We are waking up to higher dimensions. But ultimately, the supernova soul, what we're really doing is waking up to the bigger truth of who we are, to that star power. And you've already said yes to this, and yet you're limping around a fraction of who you really are. And the Pluto and the Saturn and all this is just about like everything you're coming up against that's keeping you from living that truth, that bigger, powerful spiritual truth. And what does this world look like when these supernova souls, find that permission within themselves, turn that corner and start popping off like fireworks, right? And this is the shift. Like we're in a weird time all the way to the end of the year and into January, but it's incredibly powerful, dynamic, shifting time. So take advantage of it. We've got Mars taking that retrograde on September 9th, and very potent that first week of September, next week, Mercury moves over into Libra, where it will be taking a retrograde and squaring up with the Capricorn planets, or mostly Saturn. And then Venus moves into Leo, which this is the beginning of the backside of that whole Venus retrograde. And so it's almost like this Venus will be also coming into a opposition with Saturn. And all of this stuff is about, we're still sorting through the Venus retrograde. Like we still haven't gotten out of that energy, so keep that in mind. We're turning little corners, a bunch of little corners, and maybe we can get that Rubik's Cube lined up and, just let that light come in and let ourselves move over into out of these heavy contractual grief, failure stories and into like, okay, how about we be here now and arrive, and once, the more it's tricky when you get to closer to establishing your light, but once you do, it's its own protection. And there isn't so much of a, reactionary pushback from the people around you and from the world. Once you establish it, it's just like nobody can argue with that, And so that's what this Mars retrograde is about for the supernova soul. So I hope you'll consider joining me for that Pisces full moon activation on Tuesday and on the September 1st, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And I will see you on the next update. And just to clarify, I talked about moving my updates to the Supernova Soul Tribe membership. I would love for you to join there and support the movement and be a part of it. Bring your energy. But just the Wednesday update. I'm still going to be here Mondays and Fridays to get you through the week in these upcoming months ahead, as well as full moon and new moon updates. So I'm here for you. I look forward to seeing you soon at that new moon activation, the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.